began early at St David's. The rain of the night before had subsided, but it was very wet underfoot, and we were a little concerned about this. But however, final preparations were well underway. We were due to have the procession. This was going to be old and new fire engines, and we were going to go through the towns of both Reigate and Redhill. Here we see a full-time and a retained fireman dressed as we really used to get dressed up in. Cleaning the machines. Everything's got to be spick and span for the special day.
I'm enjoying myself, you know.
This smart body of men were the recruits in training, not the guards as they actually look like the way they're marching. They headed up the procession. With many old fire engines, here's Cliff Webb driving his appliance, with two happy children on the back waving to us and waving to the crowds. Everybody was smiling, everybody was happy. This was going to be a great day for the family.
All I wish is that they would change their tune, like with the old, I wish they'd go back to the old bell.
Meanwhile, back at the showground, people were working busily there to get the event set up. Preservation Trust were here, of course. Oh, what happened there? Here we see them now carrying the dummies up the old fire escape. We don't have fire escapes in Surrey anymore. Some people say more's the pity, but there we are, that's the way things are. Stuart Thornton was somehow got lost. He was trying to catch up the front of the procession. He certainly worked hard on the day. Here we see John Wadey and Miss Karen Pickup, who was Miss Reigate in Redhill. The pump escape thundering down Croydon Road, just like we used to see in the old days. Here we saw the jam that created by, in fact, Cliff Webb's fire engine broke down. He had to rejoin the procession. Caused quite a commotion and noise. Here we see John, the organiser, getting through on the radio. Or is he getting through on the radio? Channel 1, is it? Or this switch, or that switch? However, he doesn't use them too often. Now it's getting on towards midday. A lot of people here, a lot of stalls erected by now. Over 70 stalls here on the day. There was plant and produce stalls and tombola stalls. A lot of vehicles had to come on and made slight indentations in the grass, but Don the gardener got over that problem for us. The older generation escaped to the pub. John and Diane had worked very hard on setting up the stalls, and in fact here we see the British Army coming to St David's. The ground now, the sun was out and the ground was, well, getting better. Things were looking really good for the afternoon's display.
All these cars alongside and free movement.
Here we see Mrs. Joan Lynch, the Chief Officer's Secretary. She's been with the brigade now for over 20 years. She's always been keen to help for any fundraising activities. Today she was running the cake store. Here come the helpers who are running the tombola store. Thousands of pounds worth of prizes have been donated for this store. Of course, they all had to be carried in from the cars. We had many helpers on the tombola store. Diane Anthony here.
And still the organiser organises. Is there no end to his problems? Good grief, where's he gone? I've lost him again. We should never have bought these radios.
Situated in the dingle on that day was the museum. This was run by the Preservation Trust, who's formed of members of the brigade who are interested in the past history of the fire service. Included in the display were books, logbooks, pictures, many old pieces of memorabilia which have been collected and donated by various people. Over 1,000 people saw this display on the day and thoroughly enjoyed themselves seeing the old things. These vehicles belong to Alan Greenwood, whose sister Mary works in the brigade control room. Left, right, the marchers are still marching on. Boy, they did us proud that day. Here we see the procession in Castleford Road. The bells are ringing, the sirens are wailing. Oh, that sound, which is the best, I wonder. The procession was very long, many appliances in it. See the pumps and the pump escape. Everybody's enjoying themselves. A lot of traffic was overtaken, as you can see there. Sometimes we had problems with that, but we'd get over them all. Alan Greenwood joined in the procession too. He wouldn't miss it for the world. Full-time crews were also involved. They were there as well, but always ready to respond to the call. The emergency vehicles, the water carrier foam and the breakdown lorry were all in the procession. Sure enough, as it happens on these occasions, a fire call was received. Off go Reigate speeding to the fire. Yes, the publicity worked. The queues are forming. Traffic jams are everywhere. There's Jeff Barber in his uniform, along with Gordon and Nicholas, who are looking after the security on the gate during the day. Raffle tickets were sold here and all over the site. People would purchase them as soon as they got in. Programmes were on sale, because there was the lucky programme prize. This was the first scene the public saw. Very impressive it was too. Families in pushchairs, children, everybody enjoying themselves on what was now a very, very sunny afternoon. We had arranged for rides in the fire engines. Here we see the old fire engine taking them for rides in the local vicinity. Yes, a charity skip. Robert McAdam from Warwickshire, who was a recruit in training. Robert holds many records for endurance skipping. He did a good job on the day. In fact, raised over £40. Here we see Mitch Perry in the stocks. This was Reigate Fire Station's store. Harry Gillespie throwing the sponges at them. They had a lot of fun on the afternoon. Didn't wear his cap on the drill yard. What a terrible crime that is. Oxted run the stall for sliding down the pole, dipping the fireman, wetting the fireman, whatever you like to call it. They had lots of fun and everybody enjoyed seeing the fireman getting soaking wet. There was a prize for the best stall in the afternoon. This is the stall that won it. Mind you, didn't they deserve it? Many children went on the aerial runway. Doesn't he look happy? The cricket stall was very popular. Mind you, the pitch was a little wet. But there we are, we got over it all. boy, it was hot now. Is there really flies at St David's? Anyway, you've got to rest, you know, these dudes. The plant and produce store. Diane Harris. She'd worked so hard prior to the event, arranging all the stalls. Anyway, it looks like a lot of custom was done. But doesn't she look pretty? Display preparations were going on. Hydraulic platform, checking, double checking, making sure everything's right for the display which was to take place very soon. Boys behind the scenes were ready, all ready to go. Lovely Karen and David Miller are escort, setting off to judge the stalls for the day. Bowling for the barrel of beer, run again by Reigate Fire Station. We had some problems on the day with vehicles getting stuck. However, here comes Ken Hazel to the rescue. 5 years ago was discharged from Brigade with severe back trouble. Thousands, of course, came just to see the big arena displays. Here was the Rolls Royce, this beautiful Rolls Royce that was to take the lucky programme prize winners down to the coast for the day. Chauffeur driven as well. And good friend Bob Broad. What a day out. Well, the majorettes from Crawley were the first to get the show underway. They were very pretty with their music and dancing. Down go the jacks on the 16-ton HPs. The public love these sort of displays, so we thought we'd give them a good display with the hydraulic platforms. Not only were we going to show them how they worked and what they did, but we were in turn going to pick up some people off the roof of each tower. Here we see them going up to do that. Crews were from Epsom and from Leatherhead. Up in the cage they go, up and face the tower. Final Snorkel. That's the name they should be called. Now we've got 3 in the cage. Who are they, we ask? Well, these are the boys from Woking Whitewatch, the abseilers. All dressed the same, all ready to go. Show us what abseiling's all about. Down go the bags, crashing to the ground. Here they go, one after the other. Did well, the lads did from Woking. Down they come. All wearing the helmets. Sort of thing that we don't do on duty, but a lot of fun for them when they go off duty to do this. There's Dave Windsor coming down. He was the leader of the team. The lady loves milk tray. From Reigate Red Watch, who are going to do the fire situation display. They were due to rescue somebody from the 3rd floor. And who was it? Oh, Zara from Control. As always on the displays here at Reigate, lots of water is always used. The public love the water. The only trouble is, a lot of people get wet. Now the crowd were enthralled. They're wide-eyed. What was going to happen next? How are they going to get the man out? Well, we'll have to see. Here they come, the brigade are coming now. most of the time, but we don't put live bodies down next to corpses. This was going to be fun. The pump drill, the men versus the girls, and what a time they had. Here now, if you haven't seen it before, the very famous Water Niagara. This lady, we don't know who she is or where she's from, but she saw all of this going on. We leave you to remember the smiles. The Spectacular raised over £6,000 for the Fire Service's National Benevolent Fund.